All right, during these dark days, there's a little ray of sunshine here in Gloucester, and we're going to turn this thing over to Jackie Ganim Defalco. And Jackie, thank you for inviting me back here. I'm wearing a mask. You don't need to because I'm way away from you, but...
We're going to take it off.
Yes,
just
please.
Point out that
there we go.
In addition to sea glass, we do have homemade masks too when people come to the studio. So if they're not prepared, they can buy a mask in addition to their sea glass.
I love it. Okay. Now you've done your studio over again since, it's been quite a while since I've been here. So take me on a tour.
All right. So needed more space over here. So I changed this up to, a larger table and kind of moved the furniture around, created my little office there in the corner and some shelves. And then I inherited over here a lovely bookcase from my mom, and so that's now got all the books and the extra things that I sell, the note cards, and then of course the centerpiece is still over there. We'll walk over there and take a look at all the jewelry, and the everything is out here except the barrettes. So between here and here we have all the pieces, but this display is actually, this is all new from the show I did at the MFA last year, which was really fun because I wanted to maximize the space that I had there, and it gave me a chance to rethink things, and also to had a professional, Martha Sutak, work with me to reposition things, and she felt strongly. I used to keep everything at angles, and without looking over there because I'm still at angles. But this is more how now when I use the display professionally, everything is looking right at you. And we created this back piece here so I could really show off the bottleneck beauties, which are the premier part of the collection.
And this is all sea glass as well. This is
it's all sea glass and pottery. Yep, all found. Got some really interesting pieces here with the bracelets. And then of course in the time we had over the last few months, I started playing with other things like little paperweights, and I had a soap.
Oh, you had some spare time, did you? Or
well, a little downtime in there.
Downtime,
yes, a little downtime. Right. Of course, then I started my own art interview show on Studio 1623. So I've actually spent more time interviewing artists than I actually did doing.
Now, will that be a regular feature? You're going to keep doing that?
Yes, it's every week. It comes out on Sunday. The artists come out on Sunday night. So one just came out yesterday on Facebook, Linda Holt. And I didn't do that interview. That was my co-host, Christine Fisher. And so we go every other week with artists.
Excellent.
So this next week it'll be Pamela Stratton, who's one of the Cape Ann artisans, and who's part of our upcoming mini tour. So that's an exciting thing. We finally have a real event on the calendar, so that people can come back and see some of the Cape Ann artisans' studios in person, safely, wearing masks, using hand sanitizer, and keeping our 6 feet apart. And I can have 2 to 4 people safely in the studio at a time, and so we're encouraging people to make appointments with us. I have an app on the Square for making appointments, or they can call or email me. And people that have appointments will get first priority. We won't turn anyone away. But it's just that if you have an appointment, you get first.
And in general, when are you open?
So I'm always open by appointment.
Okay.
And if I'm here, whether I'm in the house or in the studio, I'll put my open sign out. And so if people are driving by, they'll know if the open sign is out. And if they need something very specific, they can call me and talk to me about it on the phone, and then I arrange to meet them here.
Okay.
And that's really true with most of the Cape Ann artisans as well. I'm in a good position to open up my studio because I can also go outside. I have a lot of space outside as well. So July 18th and August 15th, 2 Saturdays, just on Saturday, there's 7 of us who will open our studios in the sort of more traditional way that we open up our studios. And that'll be a test to see if the rest of everybody wants to join us in the fall.
I see. Okay.
So.
All right. Excellent. Now let me just go back around here because
so I have some fun.
Show us what else you. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been doing different findings. So these are a nice different type of a hair fork, which was kind of a fun thing, a little bit more maybe more hip. I have to say, hair forks, I've got a lot of them here because last year I almost sold out of them. It was a very popular item. I think with everybody now, especially, wind up with longer hair. Without their hairdressers, hair accessories might be a more popular item. And then I keep getting back to using these highly unusual pieces of sea glass, you know, that I'm finding, and finding new ways to work with those, you know, so that was a big one. There's one in particular I want to show you that really was a stumper. I mean, it just took me so long to figure out what to do, but this is a combination of pottery and glass, and then I wove leather in, and I'm using this, another new thing is a lot of vintage jewelry. I'm taking it apart to use for the necklace part. Since I don't really usually make that part, I'm really focused on the pendant. I'm having some fun repurposing. I got a lot of vintage jewelry from my mom when she passed away last fall, so just kind of trying to find new ways to use old jewelry, which further enhances that antique feeling that you got with the sea glass. So that's kind of fun. Let's see what else. Oh, I made a ring. This was fun. A lot of people ask me about rings. I'm not sure if I'll be able to do a lot of those, but for that one person that has to have a ring, I was able to find this unique finding and put that together.
So do you do custom, or people just come in and they want to select from what you have, from what you've created?
That's a very good leading question that I'm really impressed that you asked that. I do custom work when people don't find, you know, what they want, or if they have a favorite piece from their collection that they want me to work with. Generally, people like walking away with something, so I'm hoping I have something for everybody, but I do love the challenge of custom work. And so one of the other little, I'll call it COVID-19 projects for me, was pre-drilling matching earrings. So these are all drilled in advance, and I think this is these are already drilled. So, because the matching up and the drilling of the earrings takes the longest. And so I thought, well, you know, if I make some of these in advance drilled, if again, I don't have what people want, I might be able to finish if they wanted a particular color of wire, or, you know, findings along with that, I could do that. So that was another experiment. I'll call that semi-custom.
Okay.
You know, and it also gives I think people like to participate in the process. And I do think that sharing creativity, which I actually wrote a blog post about earlier, you know, in the beginning when we all kind of went into lockdown, I thought, well, you know, one of the best things we as artists can do is share our creativity, and because creativity is a good way to get through these times, you know, kind of focusing a little bit more inward. And so getting people to be part of the process, actually, in a manageable way.
Right.
Because you could get a little overwhelmed if you just started with all that.
Right.
You know?
Well,
so
that's
it's sort of like, let's just, you know, do part of the work for people and let them participate
All right.
a little bit.
Right, and upcoming events, mention again when this event will be. You've got a couple of openings with everyone?
Right, exactly. So we try to keep it simple. It's right smack in the middle of July, right smack in the middle of August. So July 18th, a Saturday, August 15th, a Saturday, from 10 to 5. And the artists involved, and I can give you a little digital poster, you know, which you can put here, but it would be me. In the Gloucester group, it's sort of me and Beth Williams and Jillian Demeray, who's a new Cape Ann artisan this year. And then in the Rockport group, we have Pamela Stratton and Cynthia Curtis. Well, we have David Archibald, who's kind of on the borderline there in Lanesville. And who am I missing? There's 7 of us. Let's see, Cynthia and David and Pam. Oh, and Aaron and Scott Place from Twin Light Studio. So they're also on the Rockport side. But people